Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. Wednesday afternoon, Major League Baseball as we parachute in from the sky, 7 games going live. And folks, this is exactly why we do this. We want to give you that in-game knowledge. We're also going to preview some games on the card a little bit later. Jason's going to try to tell you the Mets had a pretty good game last night, but I'm going to tell you I won money, so I really don't care what Jason has to say for the show today. But welcome in. If you see the 4-person panel today, welcome into everybody here. I'm Donnie RightSide, he's Kyle Purviance, Jason Radowitz, and Chelsa is in the house as well. Let's welcome her to the show today. Welcome in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was an all right intro. I'd rather have Enter Sandman blaring as I run from the bullpen like Mariano Rivera. But I'll take that intro, and I'm glad to be here. Glad to dive into some baseball.
No, it's great stuff. And by the way, usually I'm a pro at this, but I have the name listed here. And as I'm looking at the box, I had to stop on the last name. So I do apologize for that, Chelsa.
Oh, they have my married name. Yeah. So normally I go by Chelsa Messenger just because it was my TV name. Like, it's my name. And I was on TV for so long that I'm used to that. But my married name is Buchanan, and I was married to, a baseball player. So maybe you recognize the last name, probably not. But yeah, that's what's going on with the name confusion down there.
There we go. We get it all listed here, but we are ready to go. 1-hour show brought to you right here by sportsbookreview.com. As we said, it is the Major League Baseball show. Thank you guys for checking us out. Almost already 100 people here watching live as we click the go screen. 20 likes. Hopefully we can pound that up to well over 100. But also, guys, you're moving the needle for us, and that's what's most important. Yesterday on the show, 84,400 people were subscribers. Today, 84,500 people have hit that subscribe button. We want to thank you so much for doing that. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, because when we go live and give you this information, you'll get it delivered directly to your inbox, and you can come into the chat box and say hello. Let's not waste any more time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hit the card here live. And if you're not sure what's going on here, and I've already had text going on, hey, Donnie, what's the deal with these Washington team totals at 6.5? Guys, we're back to doubleheader baseball, 7-inning games. You wouldn't know it by the score here in the Atlanta-Washington game, 6-5. Kyle, I'll start with you first here. We do have locked lines because it is late in the game. Just looking at FanDuel here, minus 2,000 as a money line if you want to get down on the Atlanta Braves in this one. Any thoughts on this game? But, boy, they got out hot early.
Well, this was my favorite game of the day. We tweeted it out early, and that's why it's important, too. You've got to follow SBR Sports Picks on Twitter. You need to follow us because, sometimes the MLB schedule is going to be a little bit weird, but we're always sharing out our picks. I know Chelsa and I have been on the White Sox the last couple of days. I'm always checking on that. And so if you're not following us and you're missing out on the picks, then what the hell are you doing? And I also realized I had not properly christened in our MLB show with our giant mimosas here. So cheers to everyone. Let's get this show properly christened in. We've been off to a great start. You can't touch this game anymore. The Reds, it's 8-0. Just move on from it. If you had the Reds early, enjoy the win, kick your feet up, pour a mimosa, and enjoy the day.
We'll preview that game second there. Jason, any thoughts on this one? Because for me, being an NL East guy, I really would like to bury Atlanta before we even get out of the month of April. So I find myself rooting on the Nationals. Any thoughts on this game? Any comebacks possible? Not too much left to dig on this bone, though.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get. Knock these Braves out early. Both of us, obviously, NL East guys, so that would be fantastic. I'm a guy, I like to stay away from doubleheaders. Obviously, we have 7 innings now for all these games, and you just never know who's going to be starting the second game, the first game. It's all just a bunch of chaos, and usually I see so many better spots. So I stay away from doubleheaders, just kind of my way of doing things. But I do like the Braves losing, and I do think the second game will be interesting, with Strasburg on the mound.
Yeah, we'll just keep flipping this around here just a few moments. If you guys need any more baseball knowledge than you currently get from us, a lot of write-ups, a lot of plays, a lot of videos, just click on that link below, sbrpicks.com/MLB. Chelsea, we'll get to you. A little bit of Cincinnati Reds action here, 8-0 in the 7th inning. Looks like an easy walkover, but the good thing about live sports betting is, hey, if you started the game, sure, 8-0, but you can still get a live line right now with the Reds at minus 8.5. Yes, it's not a football spread. Minus 8.5 plus 168. Any thoughts on the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds as they come down the stretch with a live line in this one?
Yeah, no. Why would I take that? Like, there's so many other games to bet on. and you want me to bet on an 8-0 game? No, that doesn't sound like something I'd like to do. I guess it depends on what you think of this Reds bullpen and this Pirates, their sticks, if they can get them going against some of these relievers. I will say it is a home run friendly park, so all it takes is one bad pitch and one swing, but definitely not one I'm taking a chance on.
Yeah.
And by the way, as we look at this game as well, you can get a nice price here at 26-1 for the Pirates to come back. But I got to say, Chelsa, 0 runs for the Pirates. That's probably as good as it gets for them. And if they score 9 runs, I don't know if all month long they'll actually get the 9 runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not something I'd be taking.
No.
Yeah, these ones are tough to start out because you had these games very deep in the game. But as we slide it down here, some games that more interesting. Jason, I'll come to you on this one. Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins. Tigers up 2-1 here. Live numbers -245 on the money line for the Detroit Tigers. But if we look at a run line, +1.5, -250 for the Twins, -1.5, +194. But the thing I'm always interested in is not so much the run lines or the money lines, is actually the live totals in game. Because if we're looking at this, it's now actually 6 at this point. Any thoughts on here? Any late game scoring bullpen collapses here? We might be able to get over that 6 number.
So yesterday, both these teams really struggled with runners in scoring position. Could be another issue going on into this game as well. Getaway day, just heads are kind of out of the game a little bit. So I'd be weary on looking at any totals here. Obviously, both teams that can do something, but I would definitely stay away from looking at the total in this one with both teams right now struggling a little bit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it looks like in the 6th inning, I'm trying to watch it on one of the feeds here. Minnesota is at the plate. Kyle, I come to you here. It's 2-1. It's still Detroit. It's still Detroit's bullpen. +176 for the Twins to win this game. Got to pique a little bit of interest here, right?
That's it. Coming into this game, I like the Twins. So it's one of my favorite spots in live betting, basketball and baseball especially. Team you like to win against a bad team, against a bullpen we know can collapse. Down a run, that's exactly what I want in the live betting spot. Flip that number, give me that plus money. So for me, I'll take a little live betting spot on the Twins here, down 2-1. I still think they get it done. That's the way I'd go. Get that value. They're the better team, better bullpen. I think they get it done. And eventually here, us picking on the Tigers will work out. Maybe today's the day. I'll take the Twins.
Yeah, I think it's a decent shot here as well, because I'm not really going to take a run line +1.5 and pay like -250 on that, because technically if the game ended right now, it would be a winner, but a little bit too much. I would factor on more taking that long shot to see what happens here. But as it plays out, you might even get a better number as you get to the 7th, 8th, or even 9th inning. So we'll keep everybody posted on that game. Let's keep flipping it around. By the way, since I'm talking to you, Kyle, already, this is going to be a daily occurrence with you here. Kansas City Royals 1. Cleveland Indians 0. And why I bring this up is because the Cleveland Indians have 0. And I'm not surprised, Kyle.
I told you, they cannot score in an Eastern European brothel. They simply cannot. A wad of cash, beautiful, beautiful close on. They still couldn't score this. I made a little bet earlier on this game, under in the first 5, under 5 runs first 5. You just can't trust the Cleveland bats. And, we're going to see those Kansas City 3.5 team totals all year long. I didn't mind a little sprinkle on that early on as well. I think Kansas City still gets this done. I'm staying away from it. I don't know what the hell to make of the Cleveland Indians, so I'm staying the hell away from it. But right now, if I had to go to a side, it's Kansas City. You just can't trust. Jason must have jinxed Cleveland in our future show. That's what happened. He liked Cleveland so much, and he just jinxed them. I don't know what the hell is going on there, but right now, I would still lean with Kansas City. I know Bieber's on the mound. He'll probably be pulled soon. But, I like Kansas City here. Cleveland just can't score.
Chelsea, as we take a look at this game here, Kansas City, Cleveland, obviously Bieber's on the mound. You pay a premium because he's a dominant pitcher. And if he only gives up 1 run over 6 innings, I would take that each and every time. But looking at it, we have a live number in this game on the total of 3.5 runs for the game as we sit here in the 6th inning. Is that something that would interest you at this point here? Or even Cleveland, just to come back and win the game? You're not getting a +106 number when you were a favorite to start the game here. Any thoughts on this game between the Royals and the Indians?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it on the head. How do you trust this Cleveland lineup to score runs? I think that's the problem when Bieber's on the mound. The only way you get value on him is taking him on the run line. But the problem is the Indians need to score, 2 runs to cover that run line?
Exactly.
It's hard to cover the run line when you can't score runs. Indians are a stay away team for me when Bieber's on the mound, unless you're looking at a strikeout prop. But I didn't play it today because I thought it might be too high, but he's got 11. So,
Yeah.
definitely not a spot that I love there.
Man, that is such a low number because even if you think here, Chelsa, if the game goes Kansas City 1, Cleveland 1, you get the extra innings with the 3.5, but it's so hard to pull the trigger on the Indians. Look, we're not facing like the greatest bullpen in the world here with Kansas City, and it's hard for us to say, hey, they can actually score 2 runs over the past 3 innings. It's wild when you talk about it because I love the live numbers that, they open up the game, let's just say 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, and now you're down 2/3 of the game, and it's 3.5 with a 1-0 game when we know you can pile up some runs in extras. Jason, I'll come to you on this Royals-Indians game. Plus 104 for the Indians. Comeback shot legitimate, or you're just saying, no, you know what? Let this dog die.
Look, you talk about pain. You talk about pain all the time.
That's right.
This is the pain play right here. The Indians, I love Rosario being back in that lineup. I love Ramirez. I do think they have some potential, especially against righties. They just took Junis out, so now you have going up against the bullpen now. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not taking this, but I would completely lean towards the Indians. I definitely think that they can get the job done here. I'm a big Indians guy. Look, they're going to be able to keep runs off the board. They just need to score them, and you can at least expect 1 or 2 runs a game from the Indians. So I would look at the Indians in this spot if you're looking. Of course, for me personally, I'm not taking anything. I'm already 2-0 on the day. I got one more. Not looking too good, but that means profit, so I got to go to bed happy tonight.
Couple clutch hits here in the Minnesota Twins game now has them with a 3-2 lead over the Detroit Tigers, something that we just talked about when you're taking value in game. And I know a lot of people pop up in the chat box, hey guys, why do you start it at 2:30? It's specific for these reasons. If you look at my bankroll and my bets, 3 times as many bets come in game than they do pregame. It's another avenue for the show that we like to use to say we have 7 games in play while they're going on live. If we see a number that makes a lot of sense, we'll talk to you about it. And the same way you're watching the show, you probably have another laptop or your phone in your hand. Boom, that makes sense. Let me bet it. That's the whole reason why we come in later, to make sure we get the latest information for the night games. But when there's day games in the afternoon, it's so much fun to talk about it as we have so many games going off. And anything that pops up in the chat box, yell it out, guys. We'll pick it up. We'll answer it. We'll see what we can do and certainly try to make some money on this one. Boston Red Sox, Tampa Bay. I'm going to come right back to you, Jason, in this game. 3-1, the Boston Red Sox with a lead. Minus 550 on the money line. Pretty steep price here for the Red Sox in this game. Over under at 8.5 with a minus 2.5 plus 110. I know you already had a nice little winning ticket in your pocket here for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I had the Red Sox first 5, minus 115. That's cashed. We're now in the bottom of the 5th, and the Red Sox have the lead, and they are batting. So I got that one. Of course, I like the Red Sox for the full game, but you just never know with the Rays and the Red Sox after the 5th inning because, of course, we know the Rays have the better bullpen, and you just never know. The Rays have already had some comeback wins this season. So you look at that angle, I do think the Red Sox will hold. So for me, there's no value. But if you like the Rays and you think that they could hold the Red Sox to 3 runs, then yes, I would look at the Rays.
All right, so we'll keep moving on here. Kyle, I'll get to you with some information here. Toronto Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. I can't stand the Texas Rangers. I can't stand their lineup as it goes. Yeah. And here they are again, scoring runs last night and already up 2-0 on the Blue Jays today against Hyun-Jin Ryu. If we look at the live number, these are the interesting ones because, again, I don't think Texas is very good from a starting pitching performance, bullpen, or even their lineup. Now I'm looking at a number here of plus 1.5, only at minus 116 early. That piques my interest, Kyle.
Yeah, it does mine too. So, look. We were kind of talking before the show. Kyle Gibson, a disaster in his first start. I mean, his ERA is, higher than my IQ. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous, which isn't saying much, honestly. But it's outrageous.
It's probably pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, it's not saying much. So we should certainly preface everything with that. But Kyle Gibson has a nice history against his Toronto team. It's a little bit strange. And it's one of those things, too, when a guy blows up like that and everybody's off, and what happens the next game? He comes out. He strikes out 10. He looks like, in the chat box, like Jason says, looks like Jacob deGrom, and he sort of does. But I still do think once Gibson's out of this game, and they can certainly put up a run against Gibson. Anyone can. A Little League team can put up runs against Kyle Gibson. I do think Toronto will figure out a way to pull this out. So I do think if you're looking for some value, live money, live betting, and you're looking at a plus number, just like we talked about 20 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago with the Twins, and boom, they're already in the lead. I think you have that sort of same scenario with the Toronto Blue Jays. So if I was going to live bet the spot, I would still go with Toronto.
And how about this? As we were much maligning those Cleveland Indians, a 2-run blast in the 6th now gives them the lead. And as we were looking at that low number of 3.5, now much more doable, we see the updated numbers here at 4.5. We'll get to the last game here live on the board. Just started Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs. Woodruff and Hendricks started this game. Chelsa come to you on this. Still early in the game. Cubs with a slight money line favorite of -135. Over under of 7. The Windy City of Chicago. Any thoughts as this game is just getting into progress?
I think the Brewers are worth a look here just because I think it's shaping up to be a low-scoring game, as most Cubs-Brewers games seem to be, just because last season the Brewers struggled to score. And usually their starting pitching is pretty solid, Woodruff being, one of their better ones. So what's the live total on this one? It's got to be really low, right?
7. It's over 7 is actually +100, so not even any juice on the over in this one now.
Don't think I'd bite on that, but I would look at the Brewers here just because I think after last season, the only way for them to go is up. Their lineup's got to be better this season. Obviously, Kyle Hendricks is a solid pitcher there, but I think this is two pretty evenly matched teams, so I think the Brewers are worth a look live.
I think the term that you used perfectly there was there's nowhere to go but up on that lineup, specifically against hitting right-handed pitchers, which they struggled mightily last year. I'll throw it around the horn on this game since it's relatively, just starting up in the second inning, Kyle. Any thoughts on this game with the Brewers and the Cubs?
Yeah, I actually do lean a little bit to the under here. Both these pitchers have really nice splits against these teams. We're talking about weighted OPSs of 691 for Hendricks against that lineup. And if you're looking for Woodruff, a 582, that's over the last 3 years. 14-62 lifetime Woodruff is against this Cubs lineup. And if you look at Hendricks against the Brewers, only 26 of 127 lifetime, only a 205 average. Anytime I'm 50-50 on a game and it involves the Cubs, I take the other side because we know we can get those duds from the Cubs. And I do like the under here. I think both these pitchers are pretty effective. I'll take the under, and I'm with Chelsa. I would lean the Brewers here and get a little bit of value.
Kyle, give me some looks here out in Chicago. -1.5 +182 for the Chicago Cubs if you're interested in the run line, or just taking a money line, which is now down to -128, and over under that we saw at 7 +100 is now dipped to 6.5. Any thoughts on this one?
You meant Jason, right?
Jason, yes. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. So in this game, again, everyone touched on it. The under was the play, getting a little bit lower now already. So these teams are evenly matched. I am more of a fan of the Cubs offense compared to the Brewers offense. So maybe the Cubs can get one run, but really both directions. This game is a no touch for me. There's so many other games on the board that you can bet, and I see a lot more profit in those. So I would stay away from these games. If you have the under in the first 5 innings, you're looking good. Good job. Outside of that, just stay away.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you on that. Now, just coming up on a couple of these updates here, I'm looking. The Toronto Blue Jays did have a couple men on, but Gibson again gets out of the inning. So now as we look, so plus 200 for the Toronto Blue Jays in this game, going up against Kyle Gibson as it completely shifts over just a few innings in. And I got to tell you, if you were a gambler in this game, said, boy, I really don't like the line that's coming into this where I'm going to lay. You were laying 191. Now you're getting plus 200 in the third inning. I actually would rather have those type of odd situations than what would occur just in a money line situation to start the game. So those are some of the interesting things that we can take a look at when we're rolling across these live numbers. Getting into some game action that hasn't started yet here, as we're about 20 minutes into the show, the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. I'm still looking on my screen. I don't think that first game has ended just yet. There's one out in the 7th inning. So that game's going to take a little bit of time. I don't actually have a listed pitcher on my odds board. If anybody can help me out for the Atlanta Braves in this one. Does anybody know the starter in this second game?
It's Oscar Noah.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
okay. So we'll go Inoue versus Strasburg. So obviously just a clear advantage to the Washington Nationals with a pitching matchup. But sometimes this year early, it hasn't really mattered much. If we're trying to break down this game and go over some lines this one to set the table, -140 in that range, which I'm looking at Chris offshore right now. I'm looking at FanDuel. They're at -144. Over under of 6.5. Again, keep in mind, people, the 6.5 is not because, oh my goodness, the TBD pitcher or Inoue is such a good pitcher to match up against Strasburg. It's a 7-inning game. I'm going to start with you first in this game, Kyle. Any early looks here on the Braves Nationals? Keep in mind, we don't have any lineups out yet. Still waiting for the first game to get over.
Right, and that's the problem. And I'm with Jason when he talked about it. I'm not big on double headers. Of course, the pitching advantages with the Nationals. I lean the Nationals on this one if I was going to bet it. In terms of DFS, I know we like to talk about that. This is on no slate because obviously we don't even know who's going to play in this game. And one more thing, over 200 people watching, 43 thumbs up. Can we at least show our guests that you guys think we're cool? Hit the damn like button. Don't make me call Flash into here. Do something cool for us. Hit that like button. We appreciate you guys. But right now I would lean the Nationals, the pitching advantage. I'm not a big doubleheader guy, so I tend to stay away from these. But I guess to sound like a broken record, lean the pitching advantage with Strasburg and go the Nats.
You know, but based on last year, me and Jason doing this baseball show, looking at doubleheaders, I didn't bet a single doubleheader last year, whether it was side or total, still trying to get a feel. And again, I'm in that same notion. I see the doubleheader. I move on to the next game, Jason. Any looks here in this Atlanta Braves-Washington National game from you?
I love Washington in this game. Obviously, Strasburg versus Noah. And the Braves, they did a lot of hitting in the first game, so probably end up struggling to hit in the second game. That's just how things go. No analytics back that up. It's just how doubleheaders work out. But again, Strasburg didn't really pitch much last year at all. So let's watch him pitch. Let's see how he does. Let's see if he's healthy. So all those things, yeah, I'm staying away from this game.
The interesting part about it is the 7-inning games, if you're a really good pitcher, basically takes your bullpen out of it. It's starter to closer is the way it usually hammers out. And again, when we take a look at some bullpen action, maybe we get a little bit of inside information from Chelsa here with her husband being a Major League Baseball guy in the bullpen. And I got to tell you, like behind the scenes, does he yell and scream if it's going to be like, hey, a guy gets to be on second base to start when I come into the game? Is he upset about that rule? Was he upset about it?
Well, they've had that rule in the minor leagues for a long time, so that was nothing new. And he's normally not, late in the game. He's usually been a starter or, one of the middle setup guys. So I think obviously it's unfair to pitchers, but I don't think it's an earned run. And at the end of the day, that's kind of, what it comes down to for pitchers is their earned runs. But kind of going back to the second game of a doubleheader, it's good to kind of look at the first game and see how they're swinging it. If the batters are nice and warmed up, seeing the ball well, maybe a recipe for an over in the next one. And yeah, Steven Strasburg is a big name, but he hasn't pitched in a while. And this Braves lineup has hit the biggest of big names. We saw him go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers and probably the best pitching staff, in the bigs last season. So I wouldn't let that scare you too much. Obviously, it's a huge advantage on paper for the Nats, but I think the Braves could probably still get some good swings on him.
Yeah, Braves need to get after the mojo here early in the season, not starting the way they wanted to. Looks like they're actually it's 7-6 now, so I can't even say like Atlanta is a surefire win. I'm looking at 2 runners on, 1 out in the 7th inning, so never a dull moment for Atlanta Braves. But just betting into doubleheaders here, Chelsa. You heard us. Like I'm not spooked by the doubleheader, but it still doesn't fit my eye plane of what I like to see from a game because now we even see totals come out, team totals. You could bet it live. What are your thoughts on betting into doubleheaders? Would you rather just take the first game, or do you look at the second game? If maybe another team wins, just maybe something behind the scenes that you look at from doubleheaders where you might find an advantage.
As I was saying before, just if you think the hitters are nice and warmed up, maybe they're seeing the ball better because, it's like an extended game where they're already locked in, loaded and ready to hit. That's the only thing I would think of. Day games, I think usually play better for overs when the sun's shining. Obviously, it just seems like there's more runs scored, but these are very basic strategies. I wouldn't, read too much into them.
Yep, that's for me. Keep it simple, stupid is my word on life here. Could put that on a T-shirt and I can wear it for the show. Let's keep going here. And by the way, before we get out of this Braves Nationals game, it's fun to watch it play in. I'm going to see if we can get a live line on this game, which it is locked right now. It'll be interesting to see what they actually would hang in the 7th inning in some of these games. But by the way, Chatbox Obvious TV says those Reds keep getting after it. 11-0. Pirates already eliminated from postseason contention. As we sit here on April 7th, there's always the joke that we like to have. But guys, show up, do something in that game. I don't even know what to think. But I'll tell you another thing that's interesting. One of the teams which we always joke about, we have the ability to erase on YouTube because we put out a future show. And I said, boy, watch out for the Oakland Athletics here out west. Watch out for them. They're basically a doormat right now. Setting the stage for this one, Bauer versus Luzardo, the lefty, opened up as a heavy favorite towards the Dodgers at 179, now down to that 154 range. Is this the day we see something out of Oakland? I'm not ready to bet it, Kyle. How about you?
Yeah, I don't really like much of this game at all. In fact, if I was taking an angle on this game, this might be the one time that we'll talk about it where I sort of like the under in a Dodgers game, and I normally don't do that. First of all, they already took out Mookie Betts, and they're saying a rest day, but really, Mookie can't hit lefties. It's very bizarre. He's a right-handed guy who just doesn't hit lefties well. So now you see this sort of modified lineup for the Dodgers. When you look at the splits, it's not great. Against righties, that Dodgers lineup is absolutely unstoppable. When you get a lefty in who can throw a little bit, you might get some less runs. I don't have a real take on the side that I'm taking in this game, but might be the one time where I'm taking the under in the whole game and an under on the Dodgers total. I don't have an official bet on this one. I'm a little bit spooked, since that's the word today, I guess, that we are using. I am spooked. I'm spooked by it a little bit. Lefties against the Dodgers freak me out. I do think the A's can get some. I think there's some value on the A's. I think they're a live dog today. I think there's some real value there. Bauer, I love in DFS. I do have a couple of bats from the Dodgers, Turner, etc. Turner and Pollock I played in DFS today. But other than that, I'm really sort of staying away from this game. It's sort of feeling like a weird under, which I don't like to take a lot in Dodger games, and I think the A's are a live dog today.
I got to tell you, the one thing, like when you bring up guys in and out of that Dodgers lineup, now keep in mind, again, they are a National League team. The DH is no longer universal, but still being in an American League ballpark. Yeah. I almost don't lose focus. Like sometimes you look at teams, like let's just say the Phillies are playing and Real Muto sits out, or maybe, Bryce Harper sits out, or even with Kyle with the Mets, Pete Alonso's out of the lineup. Maybe they rest Michael Conforto and say, let me take a second look. The Dodgers just play platoon baseball. One guy in, one guy out. We're all all-stars. We're going to hammer away. So when I see like a major player out for the Dodgers, a lot less to me than I would view it from around the league, Jason. Looking at this game coming up here, run lines, totals at 7.5. Bauer looked every bit as dominant as what we saw from him last year in Colorado. Do you see more of that the same today?
Yeah, I love Bauer. I believe in the guy. Yeah, he struggled in the 7th inning, but he had a no-hitter before that. Luzardo struggled a lot against the Astros in his first start as well. So I love Bauer here. I love the Dodgers in the first 5. Now, be aware, Olsen and Moreland are 2 guys that could hit Bauer, of course. But outside of that, the Athletics lineup has been really bad, and I think Bauer definitely dominates that lineup. So I like the Dodgers here. They're usually good for a run or two, of course, every game early on. So you can expect that again. All you need is really 1 or 2 for Bauer. I think he'll be fine. So I like the Dodgers here as a lean. Dodgers first 5. You could take it minus 0.5 or even on the money line at minus 157 if you want to pay a little up for the juice there.
I actually like the Dodgers lineup coming in here, the way they faced up against Luzardo today. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, Chelsa. I come to you in this one, out in Oakland. Really a pitcher's ballpark here. Over-under is sitting at 7.5. Are we stepping in front of the Dodgers and saying this is the day for the Oakland Athletics, or much more of the same where the Athletics have struggled and the Dodgers continue to roll on?
Yeah, definitely not trusting this Oakland lineup. They've got to get hot at some point, but I'm not trusting them to do it against Trevor Bauer. Definitely a tall task. I'll be looking at a first 5 under. It's 4.5 with a lot of juice to the under. I think it's minus 140 where I just saw it, and now I'm locked out of my account for some reason. But yeah, I think
you're too sharp.
Too sharp, yeah.
No, I can't remember my password. So it's not very sharp at all. But I think if you're looking at both of these pitchers, both of these guys are strikeout pitchers. So when you're looking at first 5 bets, that's usually a good way to go as a first 5 under, because usually the first couple times through the lineup, they're pretty sharp. But then they run into trouble later, when guys see him for the 3rd time around, especially with Trevor Bauer. That's definitely something I've seen from Trevor Bauer. We saw it last game. I think this is a much more favorable spot for him than pitching at Coors Field, because, yeah, he had a no-hitter going, but then he gave up quite a few runs. What was it, 4? Something just not Trevor Bauer-like, but I do like a first 5 under here. If Luzardo can just put his stuff together for a little bit, because everybody talks about how electric his stuff is, and it certainly is. He strikes out a lot of guys, but he does have the tendency to give up quite a few runs here and there. But, yeah, first 5 under is where I'm headed on that one.
It makes a lot of sense in that one. And you're waiting for Oakland to play well, because even taking a look at Atlanta, you're waiting for them to win games. And, okay, they got to win under their belt and see if they can cruise. It's kind of tough when you start out, because you get that division rival right off the bat against the Astros. You don't play well. And then, boy, you get the World Series champions in town right after that can get you a little bit better here.
And then they go back to the Astros.
Exactly.
Talk about
exactly.
a tough start to the season.
So, I mean, if you're the Astros and you can really get up and maybe not even talk about sweeping the series, but win another 2 games to put them another game behind, that is massive because when we were looking at the preseason odds, they were basically 1-1A in the AL West. And if you get a great start like that, it's hard to overcome that, even though you do have a 162-game schedule. Now, the game of the night, and no prejudices here, it's not even a night game. It's a 4:05 start here in the city of brotherly love. Kyle, I'm going to come to you first in this game. Aaron Nola, the Phillies ace on the mound, pitched very well opening day. Made one mistake to the Panda. It was a 2-2 game, but the Phillies end up pulling that game out and winning it. So as I look at this game and we try to say what the deal is here, 2 good-looking lineups in. The question here, the over-under is at 8.5, and I'm going to tease this by saying I got a team total in this game, Kyle. Go ahead.
So do I. I got a plus money team total in this game because I like your fighting Phils, and I like them to get over 4.5. I like this matchup here. We're back-to-back home run props today. I like your boy Riz Hoskins, a 68% advantage. He really likes.
Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Yeah, Reese. I call him Riz, and that's how it's going to be forever. Riz Hoskins, because he pisses me off a lot of the time. I'm not going to lie. That guy is always expensive in DFS, and he's the 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. Guys on second, third. That's him. But I actually like the Phillies today. I like their splits against Peterson. Just sort of looking at the 3-year weighted OPS, 732, not bad. They're 3 of 8 lifetime, but I think Hoskins can go yard. I don't mind Bryce Harper either. I like that Phillies lineup. I like McCutchen at the top of the order. I know he's an older guy, but he has really nice splits here as well. First 5 Phillies, I like that a whole bunch as well. And by the way, that last one, that's the best call. That was the right call, not the under in the game. The under first 5 by Chelsa is absolutely the call in that A's game. So I really do like that.
You've jinxed it. Thanks.
Well, sorry about that. I do jinx things often.
Does do that.
You will see me jinx things. You'll hate me forever for it. I apologize. I'll have to send you out a good bottle of wine to make up for all the jinxing I do on your bets this year.
Or mimosa. That looked really delicious.
Oh,
it did look like a girly cup that you're drinking out of. You need a little umbrella.
He's wearing pink
from
today.
The Pirates Adventure. It's like the Knights at the the old Pirate Adventure.
12?
I met John Legend there. I took my kids there 2 years ago. Yeah, I met John Legend there too. He was on stage with my kids. Anyways, get it. Yeah,
what
John
a tangent to go on.
Yeah,
it's just like it's
by
the
the way,
Pirate
Chelsea,
Adventure.
next week when you appear on the show as well with us, don't be surprised if Kyle's no longer on the show anymore. So
that's
we can move you right into that.
I'm always
He'll
looking
be drinking his mimosa.
Yes, all bougie like in the pink shirt. I got a hot acupuncture date after the show. I got to be ready to rock and roll. Okay.
Yeah,
I know.
Kyle's already checked. You're already checked out right here. We're only halfway through the show, Kyle. Settle down over there.
Boom. Here we go. But I do like the Phillies today. I like them first 5. I like their team total. You're getting plus money, that over 4.5 at bet now, plus 110 over 4.5. I think they get there. Give me the fighting Phils today.
You know what's interesting here is I'm going to bring you up here, Jason, on this game between Mets and Phillies. Obviously, we like to get after it. Last night was one of those games where I could cheer for the Mets. Like, you can't cheer for the Mets, Donnie. You're a Phillies fan. No. My money was on the Mets. I needed to at least see them get the 5, then hope they crash and burn, but they did not do that, but I still was able to pick up some money. We look at this game. Nola clearly the better pitcher here, but we saw game 1 of this series where clearly the better pitcher, maybe the best pitcher in baseball, Jacob deGrom, went up against Matt Moore and wasn't able to get the victory. It's baseball. Anything can happen here, Jason. Looking from your perspective from the Mets here on this game, any thoughts on the total, run line? Can the Mets hang around in this game? What do you think?
Just like you guys, I like the Phillies here. Pains me to say it, but
oh man,
beautiful. Come to our side. Come on.
Look at his face too. He looks so sad when he says it. Just look.
But Peterson's the guy we watched last year. He was a rookie pitcher last year. He walked a ton of batters, limited the home runs, and batting average of balls in play weren't too bad. But he struggled a little bit with command at times, and the Phillies are very capable of getting on base and scoring some runs when they get guys on base. So I like the Phillies here over the team total, just like you guys. I think that's the play. Or you can look at the Phillies in the first 5 innings, just like all my bets have been today. Like you said, maybe the Phillies score early, the Mets score late, and screw it all up. So maybe look at the Phillies in the first 5 instead of the full game if you're looking at the Phillies.
Yeah, it's an interesting one you look at because I do think Nola's going to have a decent game, obviously, because he's a dominant pitcher. But that Mets lineup is pretty good. I was waiting on them to wake up. Obviously, they missed a couple games with the COVID issues in Washington. They were hitting the ball extremely well last night, leveling up in pitching. But as I say, we're looking at Peterson's stat line from last year, about 50 innings, 511 as an xFIP. So you're expecting some deep fly balls. And again, that has a lot to do with free passes on base, walking guys. That'll eventually get into trouble. Chelsa, I'll bring you into this game here. The Phillies haven't opened up yet on offense. A good record, but I'm waiting for one of those 7-8 run games where the ball leaves the yard. Not a lot of home runs, nothing much yet from Bryce Harper. Is this a game where maybe the Phillies can step up to the plate here with not an electric pitcher? Or is it one they're going to have to, say, lean on the bullpen again and maybe get a 3-2, 4-2 type win?
Yeah, at some point they're going to have to break out, and we kind of saw that with the Braves. We saw them the first few games of the season. It looked like they weren't going to be hitting anything, but then eventually the bats came through as they did. Because if you have good hitters in the lineup, baseball's not a small sample size sport. You've got to look at the big picture. But I'm just interested in some of these lines with so much juice. And coming from someone, when you think you know a lot about baseball and on paper the matchup can be great, but sometimes do you ever just take a chance on the team that's super plus money against some of these big name pitchers?
100%, absolutely. Because even like when I like to knock teams and I don't let them up, and that's like the Texas Rangers. I was killing them yesterday, and Kyle's like, hey, you know what? They might have a shot tonight. They end up putting 7 runs. It's baseball. How we equate that too, Chelsea, is a great point you bring up. There's 162 games. The worst team you've ever seen in baseball is going to win 60 of them.
Yeah. And this Mets lineup, they're capable of hitting.
Sure. Well, and it's also good for you guys playing DraftKings and FanDuel, right? You see a great starting pitcher on the mound. You're like, I don't want to play these players because they're going up against a great starting pitching. You're ignoring the fact that it takes one swing to score 25 points off a pitcher out of the bullpen. If you ignore a team's bullpen and are only focusing on that starting pitching, you're going to miss out on a lot of bets. So it is something important to look at in every aspect of betting baseball, whether you're playing fantasy sports, however you do it. You can't just shy away from a team because maybe they have one pitcher that you dislike. You actually get lower ownership and might get some value.
How about this one? Grand slam by the Pittsburgh Pirates. So maybe there's a shot that they can tack on 7 more runs here in the 9th inning and push this one to extra innings. Be interested to see if they even hang a live number on this one. Why? I don't know, but that's a nice little start to the inning, and the Pirates getting 4 runs is an accomplishment.
Who gave that up?
Look at that.
Was that Amir Garrett? Oh no,
I don't think he would. Would he be in the game just getting work at 11-0? I don't know who that was in the game there.
Yeah, it was him.
Was it Amir Garrett?
Jeez. Why would he?
Wow.
Why would he
be
the
one
in?
That's been talking about, oh God. He's the one that says we're going to be the cockiest sons of guns and everybody's going to have to bow down to us. And then he gives up a grand slam.
There you go. That's
not
how it
good.
works.
Not good for the ERA right there as it goes through. But looking at some other games with teams that we like to say tacking on, Red Sox now in the 6th inning, 9-1 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Getting some other updates from around the league. No score yet in Chicago Cubs, Milwaukee Brewers. And quite frankly, that doesn't really surprise me. Let's keep it moving, guys, across the list as we go. Another 4:10 start. A lot of afternoon baseball action today. Yeah. Only a few games that are going to get started post 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. 9:61, 9:62, San Francisco and San Diego. Gausman and Snell will be on the mound today. Snell, obviously, for the Padres and Gausman for San Francisco. Opened up at -150. Not a lot of line movement here. 145 in that range as I'm taking a look right now at multiple sports books. Over under, however, has dropped. Opened up at 8, now down to 7.5. Kyle, I'm going to start with you first. Those Padres here post Tatis injury. Are we interested in them today with a ace on the mound, I should say?
One of the things I like today, what was that damn acronym they were giving me yesterday? NRFI, NFR, no run first
inning.
Yeah, NRFI, which I wasn't cool enough to even know what the hell they were talking about. This is one of those games. I like the no runs first inning. I actually like Gausman splits, and I love Blake Snell. I'm a big Blake Snell guy. I think he's going to make the Padres a lot better. And the benefit you get here is, look, the Padres are without their best hitter at the top of their lineup. So if you good pitcher who has nice splits against the Padres, 14% advantage, only a 633 3-year weighted OPS against this lineup over the last 3 years. Then you take Snell. Obviously, he's going to have the advantage over the Giants. Not a great lineup. I love my Giants, but I think Snell can get it done. So this is one of those games where I'm taking an under first 5. And I like your guys' nerfy no runs first inning thing. I like that too.
There you go. But I'm going to swing it over to you here, Kyle, as we get a look at this game. I preface this by saying I like the San Francisco Giants versus lefties. They were sensational last year. And again, getting back to it, not a lineup that a lot of people look at. If we're just taking and say, the name is just a lefty and Blake Snell's not pitching, take a look at the numbers based off last year and early this season on lefties that they have gone up against. They have the ability to stack all right-handed batters, and they will do that today against Snell, which is always a positive, lefty versus all righties. I'm going to read you the weighted on base averages here of the lineup today all the way through. And again, I preface this by saying, if it wasn't Snell, I'd be all in. The team total in this game is only 3. So you can get Snell out of there 6 innings, 1 earned run, and you still have a legitimate shot to either push or win that total in the later innings. But look at these weighted on base averages. Slater, 451. Yastrzemski, 384. Solano, 378. Longoria, 443. Flores, 370. Ruff, 383. Casali, 378. Dubon, 357. It's almost like an all-star team at the plate. So maybe some food for thought. Can they get the team total today? I think they possibly can, but some food for thought later on. When they just face an average lefty out here, keep your eye on the San Francisco Giants. Take a look at this game, Jason. Any thoughts, over-under sides? What are you looking at here?
Yeah, you read the analytics right.
Hey.
Out to everyone.
Right.
Am I crazy, or maybe I'm not? The Giants plus 125 in the first 5 innings. I love that play. I think Gausman is just as great of a pitcher as Snell. And obviously the Giants, they've got some really good numbers against lefties, and potentially can get Snell, to allow a home run or two. We've seen a lot of home runs out of that ballpark, and Snell allowed 1.65 home runs per 9 from last year and this year combined. So yeah, I like Gausman more. He's got a better FIP. Obviously ground balls are going to be a little bit lower for Gausman compared to Snell, and Snell's been really, really good at leaving runners on base, but I'm not so sure he can sustain that going into this season. And with that said, the Giants, if they get some runners on base, if they're able to get some runners on, with the way that they can hit lefties, I think they can score some runs early in this game versus Snell, catch them off guard, and take the early lead on the road. So yeah, I like the Giants here. I might be crazy, it might be a pain play, but Giants plus 125 first 5. It looks like a good play to me.
Chelsa, we'll come to you here. Live dog possibility with the San Francisco Giants, and I like to say out there in the land of beautiful ballparks, because Petco looks fantastic. Obviously, the San Francisco Giants home ballpark, fantastic as well, but both really are pitchers' ballparks. Are we looking at a side, a total in this one, or in any way that the San Francisco Giants can be a live dog in this one, in your opinion?
I'm on a first 5 under on this one as well. And just looking at some of these stats, you'd be surprised. Kevin Gausman actually has some better numbers than Snell did last season, especially when it comes to strikeouts. Because when I said before, first 5 innings, first 5 unders bets are usually good for strikeout pitchers. Gausman is a strikeout pitcher. 79 strikeouts last season in just 59 innings of work. And you look at Snell, who everybody knows him as a strikeout pitcher, 63 strikeouts in 50 innings of work last season. But yeah, I think Gausman has the potential to at least be good the first couple times through the lineup. I think it is a very low number at 3.5. So I will be sweating that one a little bit, just because, the long ball can be a problem when the team, or when the under is that low, but I'll be on a first 5 under.
There you go. So take a look at the San Francisco Giants, San Diego Padres. That game first pitch on the West Coast, a 1:10 start. Now that we completed our highlighted games here on the card, let's rip through some of the rest of the stuff here around Major League Baseball. Kyle, I'm going to start with you first. Sometimes we have some of these series that, again, it's okay. We don't have to bet every single game, but just doesn't fit my eye just yet. And I got to tell you, the series that we're going to talk right now, 959, 960, St. Louis and Miami, Flaherty and Lopez. It seems like every game with coin flip, open up at 110, ends up at 114, over under low, because obviously it is a pitcher's ballpark down there in Miami. Any thoughts here, Kyle, in this game? Because I spent very little time capping this game and capping this series overall. Any tidbits here?
I like the Cardinals today. I think they get over that 3.5 team total. I like the line on that, and I think they win the first 5. Now, I will say, Lopez has some nice splits against this Cardinals lineup, but now, again, this is Arenado in a different situation, everything. I think St. Louis gets over the team total today. I like them in DFS as well. When I look at some of the bats, and Flaherty, by the way, just dominates this Miami lineup. So I really like Flaherty in daily as well. First 5, I like St. Louis over that 3.5 team total. I like St. Louis, and just a few of the bats that I like here. Arenado, I don't mind him. He's actually better against righties and lefties. I think he finally gets going. Sort of been a slow start to him. Wouldn't shock me if he went yard today. So I do like Nolan Arenado today. That entire lineup, I just like him. I have a feeling about him today. DeYoung as well. Paul DeYoung has some nice splits here. 2 or 3 lifetime in his 3 at bats. He has homered off of Lopez, which is a good thing here. Goldschmidt as well. He's, of course, much better against lefties, but still very solid against righties. I think the Cardinals team total happens here, and I like the first 5 -0.5 as well. So give me the Cardinals today.
All right, Jason, any looks here? St. Louis and Miami?
I like the under 4 in the first 5. Again, it's a low number, and you'll never really see me take unders unless I get that 0.5, the 4.5 in the first 5. So I'm going to be staying away, but I do think Flaherty should be able to get a ton of strikeouts in this game. Especially if like Duval's in there, Anderson, Chisholm, Alfaro, all those guys are in. Plenty of chances for strikeouts. It's gonna be an interesting game. Flaherty, it's interesting. He's a guy. He's a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get out of him, and has a lot of potential. Also allows some home runs here and there. Doesn't get a high amount of ground balls. Struggles with guys on base. So he's a mixed bag. He's really talented, really good, and there's going to be some games where he performs really well, and there's going to be games where he doesn't. And we'll have to see how, with a more consistent year this year, we'll have to see how he performs. But I'm not ready to really bet him yet.
St. Louis bats struggled last year against right-handed pitching. So take a look at the anticipated lineup for today, and based off last year and this year's statistics, only one guy really above, and that was Paul Goldschmidt at a 380 weighted on base average. You're looking at Carpenter 293, Molina 292, O'Neill 277, Carlson 288, down in that big ballpark, Chelsea. Any type of information you have on this game that you're taking a look at, maybe an edge on either one? Because to me, coin flip here, but I know some people can dig into some of these stats. What are you looking at?
We're still talking about the Cardinals-Marlins game, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry, I was
was
looking at some game scores. Got a little distracted. I think you might get a little bit more value on the Cardinals here just because Jack Flaherty had such a bad first start. He does have good stuff. He is a good pitcher that is capable of really good games. So I think early on in the season, you kind of look at those teams and those starters that had really bad first starts, and usually they're due for a bounce back. I like the Cardinals here. Lineup swinging the sticks well. We'll keep the momentum rolling, and I'll go with the Cardinals here.
Let's do it. 973, 974. Chicago White Sox, Seattle Mariners. Last night, I know a couple of us were just tuning up on that left-handed, shot with the White Sox, and it really paid dividends. You're going to get Dunn on the mound today, and his numbers don't make too much sense if you're looking for an under with the Chicago White Sox in this game as well. So if we load up and say, all right, Dallas Keuchel, obviously the better pitcher, are we missing something in this game? But it is priced appropriately. Minus 144, it opened up offshore Pinnacle. Now sits at about 150. Over-under actually dropped from Pinnacle from 9 down to 8. And I guess we're saying Keuchel's going to hold the bats down for the Seattle Mariners, because if Dunn does it, it would be a surprise, vice versa. What are we looking at, Kyle, in this game?
I love the White Sox. I've been on this White Sox train for a while, and I'm right back on it basically all year long. The lowest weighted OPS over the last 3 seasons in terms of projected lineup against a starting pitcher is the Mariners today against Dallas Keuchel, 0.495. I mean, that is absolutely dreadful. So I like the White Sox. I think they get it done again today. I know we kind of sound like a broken record because we've been on them all season long, and obviously Dunn's not a lefty, he's a righty, and if it's a lefty, it seems like it's just a lock nowadays for the White Sox. What is it, 17 in a row now against left-handed pitching and just absolutely bombing it. But the White Sox also have nice advantages today against Dunn, and his right-handed arm, a guy I sort of like today, even though he tends to hit lefties a little better, as I like Yasmani Grandal, Jose Abreu. I'm stacking the White Sox in DFS. I like Keuchel in DFS. I'm playing the White Sox. I've got bets on them all across the board. First 5, money line, and team totals. I like the White Sox.
If I told you here coming into this game, Jason, that Justin Dunn was 4-1 last year through 45 innings, like, man, kid's a really good pitcher. And then I said, well, hold on here. His FIP was 6.54 with an xFIP of 6.23, which basically means us 4 could go out there and throw a better ball game than what Dunn has proceeded to do over the last year. Looking at this game here, are we foolish just to not say, White Sox, it's all about me today? Or is this one of those contrarian moves where, hey, you know what, Dunn's going to pitch well and they should win this game? I don't see it that way. It would be White Sox or nothing for me here.
Yeah, I love the White Sox in this spot as well. I would look at the over and the team total, even minus -0.5 in the first 5 innings, as the Blue Jays just ripped my heart out with a double play in the 5th.
Oh,
that Kyle Gibson gets out of it. But anyway, going back to Dunn. Dunn walks a ton of batters, like I said, allows 2 home runs per 9 innings. He's pretty good with runners on base, but doesn't get many ground balls. I do think the White Sox have a ton of power. Righty, lefty, doesn't really matter. The White Sox have power, and they'll show it in this one. So I like the White Sox here. Keuchel, he didn't look great in his first start, but definitely has solid numbers against most of the Mariners' bats analytically. So, yeah, I would agree with the White Sox here, but I'm not going to be actually betting this one.
By the way, you're right. Looking at that Texas game, 2-0 now as Gibson escapes once again, but he keeps getting himself in danger. Live number for the Toronto Blue Jays sitting at a +300 in this game and a total of 5.5. I'm actually digging that 5.5 a little bit here. I think they can get 6 runs in this game once we hit some of the bullpens. Eventually, you're not going to load up the base and get double plays. Those balls are going to find the gaps here. Chelsa, let's come to you in this game out west. And again, early game, 110 as the first pitcher between Keuchel and Dunn. Any looks in this game? Do you think they can get a total in this one? Or maybe Seattle does surprise here?
I think Justin Dunn might be a little bit better. There's been a lot of talk around spring training about how some of his pitches have been a lot sharper. The problem is his command. He doesn't have the placement of some of his pitches that he needs to have, especially against this White Sox lineup where, even if you miss a little bit, they can make you pay. They put some really tough swings on some of these pitches. If you watched that game last night, some of those home runs looked like they were going to the moon, even though they didn't end up going that far. But still, it's hard to pick against this White Sox lineup, especially with this Mariners bullpen having to mop up so much of the slack last night, with Paxton only going, 1 1/3 last night. More stress on the bullpen, worn down bullpen, not good when you're facing this White Sox lineup that I still think is a touch undervalued just because they had to play the Angels in their opening series. And that's an Angels team that I think a really good 1-9.
Couple hundred people continuously watching here. Thank you guys for that. 85 thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Turn those notification bells on. We got a couple more games to go here. The Baltimore, New York game, and also Arizona, Colorado. Then we'll give out some best bets and bankers. Then clear the bases and hit the chat box for a little bit of fun here on a Wednesday afternoon. Thank you guys for spending it with us. Let's get right to the Bronx here. 975, 976 Baltimore. John Means Business, the lefty, will be on the mound. He had a really good opening day against the Red Sox. We'll see if he can continue here against the New York Yankees. Jamison Tyon's going to be on the bump for the Yanks. Open up at 190. Yankee tax. We're up around that $2 price range now. And if we look as an over-under total across the board, opened up at 9.5, now sitting at 9. Yankees were nice to me yesterday. Got a team total across once again. But are we looking at Means that's going to be able to shut down these bats today? Are we going to take that heavy price on the New York Yankees? Kyle, I'll start with you first here.
I'm going to cut the price down and just take the first 5 minus a half at -120 and take the right line. I think the Yankees get it done the first 5. You're just getting a better number, and they're going to be in the lead here. Look, that Yankees lineup is murder's row for lefties and for righties, but really for lefties, it's going to be a long, long night for Means, in my opinion. I like the Yankees a lot. It's one of my favorite plays of the day. First 5 -120. Anytime you can get such an advantage, because I really like Talion against Baltimore. Just when you sort of look at his splits here, they don't have a 125 average. Looks really good. I will take the Yankees first 5 -120. It's the better number. I think it's the easy play here. Don't mess with the bullpen. Don't mess with that juiced up number for the whole game. Just take the first 5, get that -120, and enjoy the rest of your night. So that's where I'm going with this one. Yankees first 5 -120.
Yankees first 5. By the way, what pitcher do you have for the Yankees in this one? Who's it? I can't see.
I have Talion. Jamison Talon. Jameson Talon. Whatever. Tyon. Yeah. He's Italian from now on.
Like
I don't get He will
the
be
Italian
Italian.
The Italian
style. I've been watching a lot of Rocky 4 and listening to Survivor, so shit just going through my head. You know what I mean? It's the Italian stallion. James Talion, Jameson, and I love Jameson as well. I'll just call him Jameson from now on. How's that?
Yeah, that's great. See, anytime I can bring up something to try to take a knock at Kyle, I'm going to stop and we're going to hit on that. So Kyle appreciates it. He does. It's all love up here. Yeah. We're going to keep on going with this game here in the Bronx. We've seen some runs in this game. Jason, what do we got from your perspective, Baltimore and the New York Yankees?
I'm excited to see Jameson pitch. He didn't pitch last year. gets the pitch finally this year. Well, let's see how he goes. Let's see what he does. But John Means, yeah, he looked really good in his first start. Don't think that continues against the Yankees. I would look at those righty bats and Judge and Stanton to hit home runs. They obviously getting a little bit, getting a little hot now with those bats and the power. And Means allowed 2.3 home runs per 9 innings when you include last year to this year. So I like that. I think the Yankees will definitely get some home runs at Yankee Stadium against Means. So for any long shots, you get, if the Yankees hit a long ball with Judge or Stanton, you get a lot more money than just on the team total or minus 0.5. So just a little look there. If you're looking for, a long shot play, Judge and Stanton could be two guys that hit home runs in this game.
No, it's a good point you bring up here too, Jason, because when you take a look at a left-handed pitcher, which means is Aaron Judge, 426 weighted on base average last year versus lefties, and also Giancarlo Stanton, a 365. So the big boys certainly can get after it. As we come to this game here, Chelsa, in the Bronx, any thoughts on this? Maybe an underdog look for Baltimore's played some decent baseball here coming in. Always tough to go against the Yankees. Better starting pitching, better bullpen, and a better lineup. What are you seeing out of this game in the Bronx today?
Yeah, how long do we think Jameson Taillon's going to go is my biggest question in this one. Just because, if you're coming off injury, they're not going to be, letting you go 100 pitches, I'd assume. Yeah. So the back end of the bullpen is a little bit banged up for the Yankees. I'm trying to see their injury report, but Chapman's still out, correct? I worry about the back end of their bullpen. I think I would lean to an over on this one, just because I think John Means had an admirable opening day start, but this Red Sox lineup is very different than this Yankees lineup, and the Red Sox were actually kind of cold. They do have some good sticks in that lineup, but still definitely not as deadly as this Yankees lineup, especially at Yankee Stadium. Where a few bad pitches, especially against home run hitters like the Yankees, I'm taking it over.
It's a good point you bring up, because that Yankees line, each and every day I find myself, I'm a team total guy. I always look at the Yankees, as long as they're not going up against like a Jacob deGrom, they're always in play, specifically when they play at home in the Bronx as well. And when the weather starts getting better, where you're getting into that Yankee Stadium, that short right field porch with 90-degree weather at a 7 o'clock pitch or 7 o'clock first pitch, those are some interesting games to look at. But that 9 is a doable number, and the Yankees should eat up a lot of that 9-run number. Last game we'll talk about before we get to some best bets and bankers, 963, 964, Bumgarner on the mound versus Senzatella in Colorado. Cold weather conditions yesterday for Colorado, with some happy tickets here amongst the boys. Over under 11.5. Coin flip right around minus 105 across the board. Kyle, I'll start with you first in this game. Arizona, Colorado, thoughts?
It's a tough one. I'm starting to lean towards Arizona here. Bumgarner's pitched really well against this Colorado lineup over his career, 28 of 111.
When he was good.
When he was good. How dare you? I enjoyed that time. I'm a Giants fan, and I enjoyed that time. But I still do think he can get it done here. And when you look on the other side of the coin, the Arizona Diamondbacks have absolutely smashed Senzatella. 26 of 81 lifetime, a ton of home runs. I think Senzatella, even though Madison Bumgarner, of course, is not the World Series MVP postseason GOAT that he was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, he's certainly better than Antonio Senzatella. I'm actually leaning the Diamondbacks here. I didn't make an official bet on this one, but I like the Diamondbacks in DFS. When you look at some of these batters here for Arizona that have a nice advantage, even Marte, who's at the top of the order, not a lot of power, 10 for 20 lifetime off Senzatella. Christian Walker, 2 home runs and 14 career at bats, 7 of 14, 4 extra base hits. I like Arizona here. I'm leaning the Arizona money line. I don't have an official bet on it. I'm tired of staying up so late for these damn games between the Rockies and Arizona. But I do like Arizona today. I'm just not a Senzatella guy. I just think he's really bad. And I know Bumgarner's not great, but still give me the Diamondbacks.
It's a very interesting game because, we'll see what we get out of Bumgarner, but the lineup is very interesting for Arizona. Number one, I think they stink, but number two, look at all the left-handed bats they can roll out tonight. Rojas, Marte, Peralta, Cabrera, Escobar, Smith, and Vogt. That is 7 of your 8 eligible batters from the left-hand side. That is a rarity in baseball, which you usually would think would play out against a right-handed pitcher. But based on last year's numbers, they were atrocious going up against right-handed pitching. We'll see if it changes. Jason, thoughts on this game between Arizona and Colorado?
So this is the one game that's at night. And just go spend some time with your family because you're not going to get this opportunity very often. So go spend some time with your family. Don't bet the game unless you're a Rockies fan or a Diamondbacks fan.
I agree.
Don't even worry about the game. Just enjoy the night. But if I were to, if I need to lean, because this is an MLB show, it's not a Netflix show, I would say over 11.5. Like you guys said, Senzatella, obviously not the greatest pitcher, does get some ground balls, but the Rockies obviously, or the Diamondbacks obviously have some really good numbers against them. And then Bumgarner, obviously not the best pitcher either, and lets up a ton of long balls as well. He allowed, it looks like, 3 home runs per 9 innings this year and last year combined. So lots of home runs that could be in play in this one. So I would look at the over 11.5, but honestly, I would just stay away and enjoy some time and don't stress at night for once.
Chelsa Messenger, will you be enjoying some family time tonight, or will you be watching and locked in on this Arizona-Colorado game?
Well, our family time is watching baseball, so it's kind of
Take
one
that,
and the
Jason.
same.
You don't have to bet it, though.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I plead the fifth.
I mean, if you're watching baseball, you have to
enough
bet
to
it.
take a first 5 under in this one? Do you think either of these pitchers can be better than their first start? Because, they were terrible. And at least Senzatella is not going against the Dodgers lineup. I think the Diamondbacks lineup is a far cry from that.
Cool.
So, and usually the numbers are really high for first 5 unders because at Coors Field. And that's another thing. You're playing the number. They can give up quite a few runs and still go under. So I don't think I'm playing anything on this one, but I think first 5 unders at Coors Field kind of worth a look for a contrarian play.
I'll just say right now, I'm looking at an under 6.5 plus 100. I actually do think that's in play. I mean, you need a 4-3, 5-2 game to get over that. So under 6.5 first 5 innings, there's value in that, especially when you're getting a plus number. That's over here at my bookie. So I think that's an interesting look. I kind of like that.
Out there in Colorado, at least today, we'll be getting into the 60s at first pitch as opposed to the 40s that we were looking at yesterday. So much better weather conditions. But now's the time that everybody likes to dip in here into the chat box as we're now close to over 300 people watching the show. Time for some best bets and bankers. I'm going to lead off in this one. Last night, here's what I like to be, a chameleon of sorts. You got to be able to look at your favorite team and bet against them. You got to be able to bet different situations, and you got to be able to flip-flop from night to night. Same as you took in the NFL. Hey, I like the Chiefs this week. Next week, you might like the Broncos against the Chiefs. I'm going to do the same thing I did last night. Looking at the game I liked was the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. I like the Mets team total. They end up getting it. Tonight, guess what? I like the Philadelphia Phillies team total tonight. I got it at over 4 at minus 124. Here's the reason. Peterson is a lefty. Decent young pitcher, yes. Mets have a decent bullpen. I get that. But looking at the game overall, and I might even be betting myself into where I won't get a full 9 innings because I do expect the Philadelphia Phillies to win this game with Aaron Nola on the mound. But I do think 8 at-bats is enough to get 4 runs against Peterson. A high xFIP last year approaching 5. You have some pretty good eaters in the lineup tonight from both the righty and the left-handed side. If you take a look at last year and early into the season against lefties for the Phillies, McCutcheon's ISO number 250, Hoskins 370, Harper 242, Realmuto 204, Bohm 220, and Gregorius 250. That's the first 6 batters in the lineup that can all do damage. Even if they can't get to Peterson, they do have enough swings here against the bullpen. I think they get the job done. I think they can get the 5 tonight. I'm going to hope to start the show 5-0 with my best bet and bankers. Philadelphia Phillies team total over 4 minus 124. Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, I like your Phillies team total. I actually got plus 110 over 4.5, and I like it. I like that Phillies team total. Probably my favorite bet. I like the Cardinals over 3.5 team total, and if I had to give one more, I'd say Yankees first 5 at minus 120. Makes a whole lot of sense to me as well, so that's where I'm going tonight.
There you go. Jason, up to the plate. Best bets and bankers.
I went 2-1 today already. Got all my plays done. So I am going to be enjoying some family time. So that will be my night for today.
Hold on.
I already had 3 bets. I'm profitable.
Wait a second here.
The name of the game is profit. That's what you want.
That's right.
You want to be profitable. I went 2-1 today. There's no reason to go with a 4th game and then test your luck and then go 2-2.
He likes the White Sox, people. He likes the White Sox. He'll take the White Sox. Yeah. How about that? Jason,
I got my bets done. We're all good.
Love
Now, looks like maybe Jason will be the one that doesn't come back on the show next week. That's neither here nor there. Chelsa, how about tonight? Any best bets, bankers, any odds you're looking at tonight? Give us a winner that we can sink our teeth into here.
Well, I've already given it out. A first 5 under in this Padres-Giants game. Like I said, 2 strikeout pitchers. You've got Tatis out of the lineup for the Padres. I think it stays under 3.5, and you see that with the juice being heavily to the under at minus 134. So I guess it's not super heavy, but a good enough price to where I will take it.
Sure.
Nope. See, we like that. There's a guy named Donnie RightSide that gave out a play. There's a guy named Kyle Purviance gave out a play. Chelsa Messenger gave out a play. Jason's over there saying, I'll take my ball and go
at
home.
11 o'clock in the morning.
It's because he has a Rutgers shirt on. All people with a Rutgers shirt are gutless. That's exactly what happens right there. Thanks a lot, New Jersey.
There you go. So we got some best bets in there, clearing the bases. Anything comes up in the chat box that we have. But I got to tell you, I really enjoyed the show today. And you know, it's so easy to work with a good crew. Obviously with Kyle, Jason, now Chelsa in the mix here at sportsbook.com. It's a lot of fun we're going to have as we plow through all the way through Major League Baseball for the rest of the summer. A lot of shows, a lot of profit, and a lot of fun to be had here. So thank you guys for all joining us today. And Chelsea, welcome in again. Hey, get used to it. Your family now with us here.
That's it.
Yeah, I guess you guys don't look at spending time with family as a good thing from the way you talk about it.
I'm a single dad. It's a nightmare. It's like you might as like, can I have some free time by myself?
And that's why you're having a mimosa at 1:30 or 2:30 or whatever time it is on the East Coast.
I'm on the West Coast, so
a stay-at-home mom who just drinks wine all the time.
Yeah, I have a box of wine inside. The box of wine's inside. It's ready to rock and roll. And you missed the pregame. You missed the pre-show music, too, because there's always an inspirational song to get us rolling. But you missed it. You came in hot like Metallica. But we did have some Starship on here, which Jason knows nothing about. That Starship will get you going. A little bit of Starship and a little bit of Rod Stewart every day, and you're ready to take over the world.
Awesome stuff here on the Baseball Show for Wednesday, guys. Thanks for joining us once again. We'll be back tomorrow again at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Some day games going off. We'll see if we can get some of these best bets and bankers to the window. Want to certainly thank Chelsa Messenger for joining us today. She will be a part of the show moving forward all summer long right here. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance, Jason Radowitz, Chelsa Messenger. Thank you for tuning in today. Good luck on your wagers tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.